welcome to the debate. I'm your host Rafae Iqbal, and in today's show we'll be deliberating on two very important topics. The first relating to Pakistan hosting the Aman 25 naval exercise and India's intense concerns regarding that. We know that Aman exercise, a platform for enhancing global maritime security and cooperation, and it has been aimed at countering piracy and terrorism as well as ensuring maritime cooperation. Pakistan is set to host the 9th edition of Aman 25 exercise. This is a multinational exercise, and according to ISPR, this will take place from February 7th till the 11th. Furthermore, 120 delegations from 60 countries will be taking part in this mega event being hosted by Pakistan Navy, and of course as a testament to the cooperation and maritime security determination that Pakistan Navy has and the Pakistan all of security forces have regarding this. With regards to that, we know there's a regional spoil of peace, and it has been raising concerns and showing frustration on its media with regards to this naval exercise. In the second segment, we'll be talking about the Chinese Lunar New Year and Pakistan-China ironclad partnership. With regards to that, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and President Asif Ali Zardari, they shared messages of felicitations to President Xi Jinping and the Chinese nation on this auspicious occasion of the Chinese Lunar New Year. This marks the year of the snake, and in regards to that, in their messages and the letter that President Asif Ali Zardari said to President Xi Jinping, it was reiterated the ironclad friendship between both the countries and how these ties have further nurtured and strengthened over the period of time. We'll be deliberating on both these topics and the different aspects regarding that. In the studios, we've been joined by senior analyst Farrukh Pitafi. Along with that, we've been joined by geopolitical analyst Faisal. And on Skype, we've been joined by Vice Admiral retired Ahmed, who is a president of NIMA. Thank you all for your time and being part of the conversation. We'll start off with Vice Admiral retired Ahmed Saeed. So, when we talk about Pakistan hosting the Aman 25 naval exercise, how has this exercise evolved over the years in contributing to region's maritime cooperation and the future prospects that we have with regards to the upcoming being held in February?
Yeah, thank you very much, and Assalamu alaikum. The Aman exercise has started its journey since 2007. And biennially it is being conducted, and over the period we have matured, and this platform has become a very respectable platform for the navies to join hand together for maintaining good governance at sea. So the upcoming is the 9th edition, in which almost 60 countries are participating. And the addition of another new dimension is the Aman dialogue. So this time, the heads of the naval organizations and the coast guards, they are also participating in a big number, and they will be given a chance to give their point of view in terms of the emerging security challenges in our region, as well as how they foresee that how these challenges are to be tackled, and we will devise certain mitigation strategies as well. So this all will be done under the banner of Aman Exercise 25.
And sir, in the broader context of the tensions that we see in the region, such as those arising from the Indo-Pacific region, how important do you think this cooperation comes at this time?
Yeah, you're right that beside this, there is tension which is rising in our region for the reasons that the contestation which is taking place between the status quo powers and the rising powers. So that is also creating some kind of uneasiness in this region. But that is the reasons that we should sit together, and to avoid the conflicting situations, we hear each other's point of view and diffuse the situation. So these are the platforms on which we sit together. All the countries, those who are coming, they have their point of views, and we, on these kind of platforms, we listen to each other and try to agree on certain parameters in which the trade at sea and along with other non-traditional threats, they are linked with it. And along with that, now the new emerging threat, which is the climate, which has to be dealt by all the navies. Now we call it a blue defense. So this is the role of the navies in providing the environmental security within their region as well as in the collective platform. So that is what is coming up.
Admiral Saab, since you were talking about the importance of dialogue, let me ask you, once these dialogues have actually taken place, whatever actually transpires, how exactly do you showcase that?
Yeah. Uh, in terms of a conference and a dialogue, earlier on we used to have a conference and exhibition as well. But now these two segments have been detached and they will be conducted towards the end of the year. But giving space for the dialogue is a kind of platform where conclusive discussions will be taking place and actionable recommendations will come into play towards the end. And those recommendations will definitely have into the policy domain, into the use of technology, and as well as some collaborative mechanisms in terms of modifying our SOPs. So in all three, that means the doctrines. So in all these three areas, the outcomes will be shared, and of course, it will be again repeated in the end of the year when we will have the industry as well. So military industry will tackle those issues which are related to the technology. So over the 2 years, again, once we come back, so this process will be repeated and all the things which we had already committed, those will be tackled. And again, we will have the same runoff. So this is a closed loop in which productive discussions and its outcome will be taking place.
Vice Admiral Saab, obviously when we talk about the seas, 60% of the sea is not, controlled by any of the country in the world. Rest of the seas, of course, they get controlled. Just wanted to ask, when we talk about trade of the world, I mean, majority of the trade actually takes place from the seas, and they have challenges as well. Challenges means piracy. And when it comes to piracy, piracy is not that far from where Pakistan is right now. We know that there are pirates out there in the Indian Ocean, in the Arabian Ocean, and they are, of course, they are utilizing all of the available opportunities. How very well Aman exercise can play the role in terms of securing the waters that are closer to us, number one, and number two, what are the countries that are more involved in countering the piracy, sir?
And by the way, just as a follow-up to this question, allow me to actually add to this. Regarding threat perception, there are many challenges to many of these countries. Smuggling is one, as you pointed out, human trafficking is another. The movement of contraband items must also be a serious concern. Could you identify what exactly constitutes the threat perception, and which one do you see as the biggest challenge to security of most nations?
Thank you very much. I think very comprehensive questions which have been asked about the security at sea. First, we need to understand, as you have already highlighted, that security at sea is a different paradigm. That means that all the areas which have been mandated to be given, which is under the control of the countries which are maritime nations, that is their exclusive economic zones, their territorial waters. In fact, it is not given to them as if they don't allow anybody to come into play in those areas. It is, in fact, you have to provide the security to innocent passage of the ship, all those who are transiting through your area. So those countries, they have to provide them the security, and as well as any SOS call, they have to respond to that as well. So this is world over acceptable norm that is in all the maritime nations. But beyond that, which is 60% of the total, which is the high seas, on that, the security is to be tackled under the UN Convention Law of the Sea through a collaborative mechanisms. If we recently recollect about in 2009, there was a piracy along the coast of Somalia. Now the Somali government was unable to tackle that. So therefore, a collaborative mechanism in terms of Task Force 151 was formulated, in which all the countries of the most of the regional countries and international nations, they joined together, and that was tackled very well. So these are the kind of mechanisms they will come into play, and for that reasons, the platforms like Aman, they play a very positive role. Now coming towards the kind of challenges which are coming up, uh, the traditional security, we understand that is the primary, that is the securing the sea frontiers of Pakistan, that is the primary role of the Navy. But other than that, 24/7 we have to be on guard to tackle the non-traditional threats. And that is some of them you have already highlighted, that is the piracy, that is the drug trafficking, human smuggling, illegal fishing, pollution, and above all, now there are certain different kind of threats are coming into play, which is the cyber crimes, time domain. In addition, there is also undersea, uh, the data cables. They have also come into play, and their security is also a strategic level thing which navies have to do. So other than that, then we have the artificial intelligence, autonomous which are being used, and security of the ships, the proliferation of the, you can say, the mines also, as well as the the cheap missiles also. So these are the threats which are coming towards more prominent, but it is not a country specific, it is a global issue. So therefore, all these challenges, they require a collective wisdom of maritime nations to sit together and devise certain strategies to mitigate these challenges. So these are the platform on which these kind of challenges are talked about, and we devise certain mechanisms and certain strategies. So that's how they are tackled.
Yeah. Vice Admiral Saab, I'm glad that you have highlighted CTF 151. Of course, when it comes to this specific combined task force 151, I believe very currently Pakistan took the reins. I mean, Pakistan Navy is playing a pivotal role in it, and right now, of course, the command has been actually passed on to Pakistan once more, Pakistan Navy. It is another, of course, something to be very proud of, that Pakistan is playing a pivotal role when it comes to maritime security of the region. Just wanted to ask about a spoiler, our eastern neighbor, India. Can we say that India is, trying to do every bit in terms of not including itself to anything Pakistan does? Be it Champions Trophy, they don't want to be part of it. Be it, Aman exercise, they don't want to be part of it. You being a senior naval officer, what could be the reason that India is shying away from this kind of platform that is actually for the mutual gains of the whole world?
Yeah, I would give this thing that as per the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea and other provisions, this is the collective responsibility of the regional countries to tackle the problems. So India being one of the regional country, uh, I think its leadership is more playing into the political hands. And one of their jargon was that when they came into the power, that we will isolate Pakistan. So this is something which they have been trying. They have been maligning Pakistan into a lot of other areas. Giving you two examples in the maritime domain, that on 2014 December 31st night, off the Kathiawar coast, they claimed that they have busted a boat at sea which was laden with explosives. And one of their very responsible rear admiral, who was the head of the Coast Guard, he came on TV and he explained that what has happened. But within a week, their own people, they investigated and they found that it was a hoax, and they actually stage managed. And that gentleman has to resign from his post. Similarly, of late, they played a similar kind of drama off the Somali coast. They captured two, three boats and they labeled it Pakistani crew, and the boats were supposedly the boats were of Iranian origin. So again, those things were busted out. So they time and again they are trying to portray Pakistan into a negative side, but I would say maturity will prevail. That once a country is to prosper, the region has to prosper. This is a lesson which we learned from the Europe. So a single country cannot isolatedly come up as in the region. So we have to think about the region. We have to think a bigger picture. One of our ex diplomat has said once that India is a big country, but not a great country. And that is the limitation of their leadership, I think. They don't think big, they think small. And that is the reason they are carving out and they are creating these kind of situations.
Yeah, and can we say that Indian Navy is actually busy elsewhere rather than where they should be busy in? Obviously, when it comes to maritime security, this is what the expectations are that they should be getting busy into. But of course, whenever we hear about Indian Navy, either they are busy producing Commander Kulbhushan Jadavs, or they are busy producing many of their officers and many of their sailors who happen to be in the Middle Eastern countries and who happen to get caught red-handed spying for Mossad.
Exactly. They are not concentrating on their core responsibility, and that is in the maritime domain, they have to produce good governance at sea. So that is the area I think which is a collaborative effort, and they have to link themselves within the region and concentrate on this. Beside that, a few days back, their naval chief had commented on Pakistan Navy. I think they have started politicizing now the naval leadership as well. So this is something which is not a good sign, because navies and the forces, they should be professional forces, concentrate on their own core issues.
Allow me to actually bring the attention back to Aman exercise and Pakistan Navy. Pakistan has over 1,000 kilometers of coastline. Pakistan also has a navy which has been sacrificing throughout its history for the defense of the country. But when you listen to our national discourse, I don't see that much of a mention of navy, right? And there seems to be, even in culture, there seems to be poor representation, there seems to be poor representation in the media as well. So there is this element of sea blindness in the country. Do you think that exercises like Aman exercise can actually bring attention to that kind of capacity and the kind of resources we have, this country has? And secondly, because media is also covering these exercises, but it usually ends up being a small flash in the pan, or rather than the kind of coverage that is needed. Do you think through this platform, would you like to speak to media of highlighting how important these things are to cover?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is one of the very important point which you have highlighted, and I fully compliment that. Of course, the media has to play its role, and I still compliment media is taking a lot of time to give the Navy activities and its coverage. But my point is that maritime nations have to think like a maritime nations. That means it is not to be event based, rather it is a continuous effort in which the potential of maritime sector is to be integrated into our national maritime economy. For that, until unless we don't debate, we do not create points in which that how we can contribute in integrating this huge potential of economy into our national economy. And that is about, well charted out, is about 100 billion. So average, if I say, about 6% of GDP should be the maritime contribution, maritime economy contribution. So it comes out to be, as per our GDP, which is 375. So it comes out about a little plus 30 billion. But at the moment, we are having 1.5 billion, which is very, very less. So our endeavor should be that we should create such environment for the investors where they are able to come and they invest into the maritime sectors. And a lot of potential is there, a lot of profitability is there. Government has to create environment, give the policy directions, and also give regulatory mechanisms. These are 3-4 things, I think, which needs attention at the government level. The moment we do this, I think a lot of our problems which are coming up in our national economy, that can be tackled with integrating the maritime potential into our national side.
Definitely. Coming towards Raja Faisal to include his comments as well, and I'd like you to highlight the geopolitical aspects when we talk about the Aman 2025. As you also mentioned earlier, the frustration one of the regional bullies is having, and that spoiler of peace is having with regards to this naval cooperation.
Yeah, obviously, Rafae, when we talk about India, the spoiler, we know how it plays, and obviously it knows that Aman exercise has a huge importance. Reason being, I mean, it's not it's not a small thing that 60 countries, they are, of course, coming out to Pakistan, knowing the facts on grounds that obviously Pakistan Navy is doing a brilliant job, and it is important for not only the region but the whole world as well. Why? Because we shouldn't be forgetting that the trade, if it is going to Europe or Americas, still it is actually passing nearby, and of course Pakistan Navy is playing a pivotal role in it. When we obviously talk about Pakistan as a country and the coastline of Pakistan, we shouldn't be forgetting that Pakistan is very important, not only for of course our own seas, but we are a sort of a gateway, a gate to the GCC countries as well, the Gulf countries. The Gulf of Arabian Gulf is actually right next to our door, and I think that is why it is very important. At the same time, countries like India, who have been very busy in terms of their Indian naval services, their name has been mentioned again and again in the illicit kind of stories. Of course, whenever something was going on in terms of spooking around in the Middle Eastern countries, you would only hear out one name, and that is Indian naval officers and Indian Navy's sailors. They were involved in that kind of illicit in intel trade. And when we talk about Pakistan, of course, I mean, there is only a name that rings the bell related to Indian Navy, and that is, of course, Commander Kulbhushan Jadhav, who has been spying in Pakistan, who has been facilitating, financing terrorism in Pakistan. Why so? Because Gwadar, because CPAC, because these are the elements that are actually bothering India, and that is why we are seeing today's India, I mean, spending money on Chabahar, spending money an alternate route to CPAC, spending money on obviously creating hurdles for CPAC and creating problems for Pakistan overall. And it is a role of spoiler that is not only affecting Pakistan, they are trying to affect Pakistan, and at the same time they are trying to affect the obviously Chinese stakes as well. And this is the spoiler that would never be part of something called Aman exercise. By the name Aman, obviously it means peace. They don't want to be part of peace. They only want to be part of illicit kind of activities. They just want to be part of ill means. They just want to be part of creating hurdles for the rest of the world, and that is what they are known for. I mean, in recent past we have been listening again and again from the Indian side that we have an enhanced naval services, and they have been portraying to the Western world that we are well capable of course, countering any of the forces in the South China Sea. Of course, we know that in East China Sea, I mean, China is contained by the Westerns, by the Americans when it comes to South Korea, when it comes to Japan, and in East China Sea they have the presence in shape of Indian Navy. They are providing, the Indians are providing sort of support to the Western countries. They being the spoiler once more, of course, they are portraying as if they are the might in the South Indian Oceans, and they can control everything here. Whereas I only see them as a spoiler. They were spoiler, they are spoiler, and they will always remain the spoilers. Whereas Pakistan and China and the rest of the world believes in mutual trade, believes in mutual benefit, and I think that's how it should be. That's why we are seeing that for the sake of maritime security, not only affects the region, but it always affects the whole world. Pakistan is playing an excellent role, and the exercises like this, Aman exercise, it is so important for Pakistan and Pakistan Navy and for the region as well.
Well, very well highlighted, Raja Faisal. Whether it be land or the seas, India is up to no good. And of course, Farrukh Pitafi, when we talk about this Aman exercise, as Vice Admiral Ahmed also mentioned earlier, there's immense potential for investments, as Pakistan is also, and the SIFC is also exploring blue economy, which has a lot of potential. At the same time, we see whether it's development projects like the CPEC, whether it's any other development projects in the region, there's one spoiler of peace and one spoiler of development. How do you think Pakistan and the regional countries can safeguard their maritime interests with regards to that, and the interests with regards to blue economy and the potential in that?
Right. Thank you very much. I thought that after showing me security concerns, you are going to take me to economy once again and maybe taxation. But you did not. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Look, the importance of maritime security is something which is understated, but it is there, right? Every time India and Pakistan usually have some kind of tiff, one of the things that they start actually using, they start using is maritime blockade of Pakistan. So Pakistan Navy has already built its capacity, and we have seen there's a reason why that kind of a misguided attempt hasn't taken place. So apart from that, let us forget India for a second, because India does this thing in hybrid warfare sphere, where it would essentially invest in people who are non-state actors, but they would actually go out of the way to attack us and keep on trying to overwhelm the capacity of security agencies, may it be on land or may it be on sea. So it is very important to look at this in that paradigm. When you talk about smugglers, when you talk about pirates, when you talk about other elements that might be there, any kind of loose bodies that are there, working with so many countries, and it was rightly highlighted by Admiral Saab, that whenever there is cooperation between so many navies, you actually develop the collective skill set, right? You actually upgrade that, and with that, of course, you can take care of so many things which are there and which are important. Having said that, because you also mentioned blue economy, and I keep on saying that repeatedly it has happened. I've known at least 2 prime ministers who actually showed me the X-rays of children with stunted growth because they did not have enough protein, they did not have enough healthy diet, right? And the fact is that we are next to an ocean which is brimming with fish, right? And yet per capita consumption of an average Pakistani of fish is barely a couple of kilos, I think, per annum. With that kind of a thing, I think there's a possibility of we can actually focus on exploring more ways to tap into that resource. That is not all. The fact is that the country does not have any private, trading, ocean trading company, right? And that becomes a problem as well. Then, of course, my concern about sea blindness. Why is it that we don't seem to actually talk about oceans and our maritime interests that often? If you look at our imagination, even I'm sure that you have seen Pakistani dramas. In how many dramas you have seen ocean being mentioned or shown? If there is a breakup in a scene in Karachi, then they would go to shore, but that is for half a minute and nothing else, right? Regarding news as well, the way we project, even in our stories, hardly any mention of oceans. So the point is that with this kind of opportunities like Aman, what we can do is we can actually send embedded cameramen to cover the entire activity. And there should be days when your television is actually brimming with the coverage of these events, because in the end, whenever you send a reporter to cover these things, what happens is it will be shrunken to 1 minute or half a minute report. But if you want to appeal to the imagination of common man, I mean, growing up, every child we knew would say that we want to be a soldier or we want to be a pilot. Why not actually go into Navy as well? These things are important. So we have to actually look at this critical resource that we have, that is ocean, and the critical force we have called Navy. And we have to start appealing to the imagination of people, because in the end, the stronger Navy you have, the stronger the country you're going to get, right?
Definitely. Very food for thought that you've highlighted. Vice Admiral Ahmed Saeed, your concluding remarks on the topic.
Yeah, I compliment that the topic is very important. I think a lot of time has been given. My concluding remarks would be that as we have discussed out, that the consistency in dealing with or projection or creating awareness about the maritime sector, its potential, and its potential to contribute into our national economy is a very important subject, in which the academia, the politicians, everybody should get, our leadership should also get into it. And we see that in their political manifesto, these kind of things do not augur well. So these are the things, until unless we do not tackle at the leadership's level and create awareness in our national level and into the schools and colleges. So until this holistic approach is not adopted, so we cannot actually get into a situation where we can have a benefit from a sea province, a province which is a little bigger than Punjab and little lesser than Balochistan. And this is the huge area. It is about 290 100 square kilometers, 290 lakh square kilometers. It's a huge area. So this is to be tackled in that way, and I think this is my concluding remark.
Yeah, Rafae, with your permission, I just have another question, sir, if you don't mind at all. And that is related to, while obviously Farrukh was talking about, the final scenes or the drop-down scenes of the dramas in which the breakup is taking place and somebody is standing on the seashore. I mean, it reminded me of the tourism as well. Of course, we know that Pakistan Navy is playing an excellent role in terms of coastal tourism. Could you please highlight that what kind of steps are being taken, number one, and number two, how Aman exercise can cover that as well?
Within the ambit of uh, the Aman exercise during the harbor phase, there is a segment which is Aman Food Gala and cultural show. In that, we showcase our diverse cultural heritage and as well as our cuisine. And in the same time, we have the musical evening. So these are the kind of activities that is to introduce Pakistan to these about 4,000 people, those who will be coming into Pakistan. But having said that, coming as far as the potential is concerned, again, a little statistics that 10% of the total world GDP is contributed by the world tourism, and that is around $11 trillion. And out of which 80% is from the maritime tourism. So that becomes around 8.5 trillion. But if it comes to Pakistan, it is almost negligible. So that is a huge potential which is available. Of course, we are working with the under the 18th Amendment because this has been devolved into the provincial domain. So with the government of Sindh and government of Balochistan, the policies are being made. And I'm pretty hopeful that in coming days, this potential will also be coming into play.
Well, definitely. Pakistan, not only a land of opportunities, but also has a lot of potential in its waters. With that, Vice Admiral Retired Ahmed Saeed, President of NIMA, thank you for your time and being part of the conversation. Your views are highly appreciated. Without moving towards the second segment, talking about the Chinese Lunar New Year, President Asif Ali Zardari and the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif have felicitated President Xi Jinping and the Chinese nation on this very auspicious occasion. We've talked about this in the past week as well, where we talked about how this ironclad friendship goes on further and further and gets stronger and stronger over time. Development is moving to new heights. CPEC is entering its second phase. The collaboration in the energy sector, in the mines and minerals, in technology sector and in IT, it's reaching newer heights with China. Raja Faisal, how do you see this collaboration growing further and further? It's the year of the snake. A lot of progress and prosperity in the year to come.
Yeah, obviously, Rafae, when we talk about, Chinese lunar year starting, and of course, this is a festival which is termed as, Chinese version of the Christmas, because it is celebrated throughout the world. Reason being, wherever you would see the Chinese people, and by the way, every sixth person in the world is the Chinese, obviously, and that means that their population, and looking at their population and looking at their celebrations related to every year's lunar year. I mean, that is last year I know that it was, I think, considered as the dragon year, and this year it is the snake year. Yeah. Of course, it is having a huge importance for people of China, and many congratulations to them. And obviously, I mean, whenever Happy New Year, and whenever people of China are happy, of course, that makes us happy as well, being Pakistanis, because we are iron brothers. And coming to the joint ventures of Pakistan, of course, CPEC is in the second phase, up and running, and Pakistan and China, the collaboration between both of them, CPEC is, of course, going to be pivotal for Pakistan's economy, and of course for China as well. And if we obviously look at the kind of developments which were taking place in recent times, we know that very soon there will be more developments related to tech transfer to Pakistan, and in the sector of AI, in the sector of emerging technologies, in the sector of agriculture as well, and of course SEZs, special economic zones. They are one by one going to be up and running. And very recently we had the opening ceremony of the new Gwadar airport, and we know that CPEC is of course in the second phase. And I think this year, the snake year as it is being called as, it is going to be very important for China and Pakistan and the friendship of both of the countries?
Definitely. With regards to that, for Pitafi, in the messages of felicitations, it was also said that the ironclad friendship, it has stood through all the testing times, all with the strategic partners, and of course, this ironclad friendship has succeeded in the successive leaderships as well. With regards to that, we know this friendship has sustained all through its times. And do you think with this development projects going on, with this economic collaboration going on, with so much going on, do you think there needs to be more cultural exchanges and more people-to-people contacts so that the nations of both the countries can be well integrated into the norms of each other as well? As of course, our Chinese brethren mean a lot for us, and for us, we mean a lot to our Chinese brethren as well.
Right. Let me thank you for asking this very important question. Cultural exchanges and understanding each other, that is very important, right? And the fact is that I know many Chinese friends who speak, flawless Urdu. Now the question is, how many Pakistanis do you find who speak, flawless Mandarin, right? The biggest problem has been that, we spoke about, sea blindness, where we have such a big resource, but we have shut our eyes to it, right? Our approach to China, although it has been full of love, but when it comes to understanding or working to explore their culture, to explore their society, we have hardly done much, right? And look at the beauty of that civilization, that country, those people. On one side, they are the manufacturing hub of the world, not universe. One day Earth might be so, but of the world. On the other side, while they are very modern, while they still believe in Marxist, Maoist ideology, they also have not lost touch with their roots. The year of snake, a lunar, New Year, all these things actually predate the revolution, right? And despite that, they have actually stayed in contact with those cultural elements also. And yet, on one side, they have ancient wisdom, on the other side, they have modern application. So why not actually explore that further? When Faisal was actually talking about various aspects or dimensions, one very important area of cooperation is space exploitation. Remember, recently we actually did a segment on Pakistan launching its homegrown, home-developed satellite, right, with a lot of optical capacity. So that was launched with the help of our Chinese friends, because the missile that was, the rocket that was used was Chinese. And I keep on saying that one day we will have so much cooperation between China and Pakistan in the area of space that perhaps we can open a new station of Pitafi World there also, and Faisal can report from there. But the fact is that when it comes to cooperation, sky is not the limit. We can go beyond the skies, we can go beyond oceans, we can even go below the ground, right? We can explore all the aspects, multidimensional. But the thing is, if you keep on talking about something, it is incumbent on you to actually do something about that thing also. While we talk about our Chinese friends, I hope and one day I wish that we have channels where people like us can speak flawlessly in Chinese and comment for the Chinese audience also, because then you get a handle on communicating with our Chinese friends as well. Until that happens, we keep on, enjoying Chinese food, their cultural products, but their cinema is so big. And look, we keep on importing so much entertainment from elsewhere. We import entertainment from Turkey. There was a time, although Pakistan and India have always been at loggerheads, but their films were running in our cinemas. why is it that we are not importing Chinese films? Because they are beating Hollywood now. So with that kind of capacity, if you actually look at the example and learn from it, you can learn so much. That only talking about DeepSeek, right? The way it has, yesterday we were talking about AI. One AI with $6 million actually introduced in training the model, and it is beating some of the billion-dollar companies internationally. So with that kind of wisdom and approach to knowledge, you can really learn a lot from China. I hope in coming days, this year of snake becomes the year of understanding and exploitation of the Chinese culture also, and the market.
Yeah. And Rafae, earlier when Farrukh was obviously saying the sky is not the limit, and he said sky is not the limit, and at that time I was thinking if sky was the limit, then we should have sent Umar Khalid Butt to the skies, reason being sky is the limit is his show. And
No,
I think
it is not. Somebody else is.
he used to do it as well.
Is,
Yeah. And I think if sky is the limit, then obviously we'll be packing up Umar Khalid Butt and sending him to the skies.
Well, I hope he's not sneezing at his home right now. With that said,
our space correspondent. He is going to report from there.
Faisal is not that socially.
I'll send my AI robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And until we learn Mandarin, I'd like to wish a happy Lunar New Year to all our Chinese audience that is watching us. But that will conclude the debate for today. I'd like to thank both of our analysts, senior analyst Farrukh Pitafi and geopolitical analyst Faisal. Thank you both for your time and being part of the conversation. See you all same time tomorrow. Till then, take care.